What if I told you that one construction project could decide the future of Asia? A dam so massive and powerful that it could generate 3 times more electricity than the Three Gorges Dam, but also so dangerous that it could trigger earthquakes, unleash floods, and even spark war between 2 nuclear powers. This is China's new megadam project. High in the Himalayas, China has begun building a super dam on the Yarlung Tsangpo, the world's wildest river. To Beijing, it's an engineering miracle. To India and Bangladesh downstream, it could be a weapon. And here's the chilling part. Once it's finished, nothing in this region will ever be the same again. You're watching Construction Wars, and today we dive into the most ambitious and possibly the most dangerous megaproject humanity has ever attempted. Make sure to subscribe because this is only the beginning of a story that could change half the world. China loves building bigger and bolder than anyone else. Over the past 70 years, it has completed record-breaking railways, bridges, and entire cities, often in record time, and hydropower is no exception. Today, China is home to more than 87,000 dams. The most famous, the Three Gorges Dam, remains the largest hydroelectric facility on the planet. To know more about the world's biggest dam, click on the top right corner of the screen. But compared to what Beijing is planning on the Yarlung Tsangpo, even the biggest dam in the world, the Three Gorges, will look small. But why China is building this dam when they already has the Three Gorges Dam? Because China has 2 urgent needs. 1. Electricity. It consumes twice as much as the United States, and demand is still climbing. 2. Water security. As glaciers melt and rainfall patterns shift, controlling rivers is becoming a matter of national survival. And that's why Beijing's attention has turned to Tibet. The Tibetan Plateau is sometimes called the third pole of the Earth. At an average altitude of over 4,500 meters, it's a frozen reservoir of glaciers and snow, feeding the great rivers of Asia, the Indus, the Ganges, the Mekong, and most importantly, for our story, the Yarlung Tsangpo. This river begins high in western Tibet and carves its way eastward for over 3,000 kilometers. At one point, it makes a dramatic U-turn around the Namcha Barwa mountain, plunging thousands of meters into the world's deepest canyon. To Tibetans, this gorge is sacred, a place where myths and gods reside. But to China's engineers, it is nature's ultimate hydroelectric opportunity, a place where gravity itself can be turned into power on a scale never seen before. So how do you capture the raw force of a river that plunges deeper than the Grand Canyon? China's answer is the Yarlung Tsangpo Super Dam, launched with an official groundbreaking ceremony in July 2025. The plan is to construct a chain of 5 massive hydropower stations near the river's legendary Great Bend, together producing up to 60 gigawatts of electricity. That's 3 times more than the Three Gorges Dam. But here's the twist. This won't look like the giant wall of concrete most people picture when they hear dam. Instead, engineers are considering a run-of-the-river system. Instead of blocking the entire river with one reservoir, water would be diverted through tunnels drilled straight through the mountains. Tunnels up to 40 to 50 kilometers long, comparable to the Channel Tunnel under the English Channel. Inside those tunnels, the river would plunge thousands of meters, spinning turbines in a series of underground stations, one after the other. In theory, it could produce nearly 300 billion kilowatt hours of electricity per year, enough to power tens of millions of homes. On paper, it's brilliant. Gravity does the work. No giant reservoir is needed, and the world's cleanest source of energy is unleashed. But in practice, digging these tunnels through one of the most unstable and dangerous mountain ranges on Earth is a nightmare, and the risks don't end there. The Yarlung Tsangpo Gorge is not just beautiful, it's deadly. This region lies on the Indo-Asian Suture Zone, where the Indian subcontinent is still crashing into Asia, forcing the Himalayas higher every year, which results some of the most violent seismic activity on Earth. In 1950, this area was rocked by a colossal 8.6 magnitude earthquake. Entire villages were wiped out, and massive landslides blocked the river for days. When the natural dam finally burst, a wall of water thundered downstream, killing hundreds. Scientists warn that the same fault line is still active today. For a dam project of this scale, that means the question isn't if another earthquake will happen, it's when. And earthquakes are only part of the danger. This gorge is a natural disaster machine. Landslides are frequent, triggered by heavy rains or shifting ground. Glacial collapses send millions of tons of ice and rock crashing into the river. In 2021, a glacier fell into the Yarlung Tsangpo, blocking the river so completely that it was visible from space. Now, imagine all of that happening with a super dam in place. A landslide or glacial burst could clog the tunnels, collapse infrastructure, or even unleash a disaster far worse than the 1950 flood. Experts warn that if this mega dam ever failed, the consequences would not stop at China's borders. Millions downstream in India and Bangladesh could be at risk from flash floods, water shortages, or even famine. Here's a question for you. Do you think human engineering can ever truly control forces as unpredictable as the Himalayas? Comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. The Yarlung Tsangpo doesn't stop in China. Downstream, it becomes the Brahmaputra River in India and the Jamuna in Bangladesh. For millions, this river is life itself, watering crops, feeding livestock, and fertilizing fields with nutrient-rich silt carried down from the Himalayas. But here's the problem. Dams don't just hold back water, they also trap sediment. And without that annual flood of silt, the fertile fields of Assam and Bangladesh could wither. Farmers who have depended on this river for centuries might find their soil barren. India has already raised alarms. Some estimates suggest the Chinese dam could reduce dry season flows by up to 85%. That's why New Delhi is rushing to build its own 10-gigawatt dam downstream in a bid to secure its water before Beijing does. Bangladesh, trapped at the bottom of the river system, has even fewer options. With rising seas already threatening its farmland, the possibility of reduced water and sediment could be catastrophic. And here's where things get even more dangerous. If one country controls your water, do they also control your future? Many in India and Bangladesh fear that this dam could become a strategic weapon, not just a source of electricity. Supporters of the project see a miracle, clean energy for tens of millions, a path to China's carbon goals, and proof that human engineering can conquer nature itself. But critics see hubris. They argue that no amount of technology can make tunnels earthquake-proof or stop landslides and glacial floods. And even if the dam stands, the political risks remain. Water has always been a flashpoint in international disputes. Here, the stakes involve two nuclear-armed nations with a history of border clashes. One geologist described the project bluntly. This isn't just risky, it may be the most dangerous hydro project ever attempted. In July 2025, Chinese state media confirmed that construction had officially begun on the Yarlung Tsangpo Cascade. 5 massive hydropower stations are planned, with an estimated cost of 1.2 trillion yuan, around 168 billion US dollars. The first turbines are expected to come online in the early 2030s. That means, for better or worse, this project is no longer just an idea on paper. It's moving forward. To Beijing, this dam is not just an engineering feat. It's a statement that China is willing to attempt what no other country dares, even if the risks are enormous. The Yarlung Tsangpo Super Dam is one of the boldest projects humanity has ever attempted. If anyone can pull it off, it's probably China. But the real question isn't whether it can be built, it's whether it should be built. Because this isn't just about electricity. It's about water, food, security, and the fragile balance between nations. One project in one gorge could shape the future of half a continent. So what do you think? Should China go ahead, risking nature and geopolitics for clean energy? Or is this dam a disaster waiting to happen? Comment below. I'll be featuring the most interesting answers in our next video. And if this story shocked you, hit the like button and see you in next video.